Hello and welcome to this video tour of our project at Calvary Lutheran Church at 7620 Baker Boulevard in Richland Hills. There were a number of design constraints, problems, issues that we were going to address. First, the church wanted us to master plan out several phases. We'll look at that in a few minutes. But they had some immediate issues, and one of them was the way the building addressed visitors, entry, and transparency. Three things that we're very, very big on. The largest body of parking right over here to the right went in the main entry of the church way back here and hidden away behind this brick wall. So when you walk down that sidewalk we were just looking at, there is the hidden front door. Now, this doesn't just imply a number of things, it says a number of things very strongly, which is this church has been built by the members, for the members. And if you know a member or are a member or know the secret code and the secret handshake, you can probably come in this private door. That's not at all what the church was wanting to imply, but that's what their architecture was saying. And so often we find that a church has the warmest hearts, they're incredible inside, but they've gotten themselves built in a way so the building is communicating something completely different. The church did have a street side entry with far less parking, but look at this entry. Underneath this heavy, foreboding brick beam and then hidden way back in here behind the bushes is the other entry. So both of the main entries of the church were concealed and were really telegraphing, we don't want you to come in. Inside the sanctuary, the church wanted to expand, and to do that, they were going to take out, we're looking at the side of the sanctuary, and this is one of two vestry spaces on either side of the chancel, which is here. This back here is stairwells and mechanical and a balcony. And so the church was looking to take out the two vestries, the back area and the balcony to expand the sanctuary. The difficulty with that is there was air conditioning, HVAC in this front corner, in this back corner, and the two corners that are behind us in this picture. So we were taking out everywhere that we had to hide HVAC. Up above, you can see that we are laminated wood beams with a laminated wood deck. There's no void space up there. So what do you do with your ducts? To make things worse, the fire marshal was anxious to see the space sprinklered. So what do you do with your sprinkler pipe? What do you do with your lighting? You can't run conduit. You can't run anything. We won't be able to heat or cool this thing. And so that began the design dilemma, is how do we expand this space and get it heated and cooled and make it look amazing? So here are a series of renderings that we produced. This is, first of all, addressing the side entry. This is the largest parking lot that they've got. And if you remember the first shot where you had to walk down beside this building and around the corner, we were able to build them a new gathering space with the three things that we love: a lot of transparency, a lot of glass, and a lot of welcome. So this addressed their first big need, was to express welcome and transparency to the visitors and members alike that drove up. Once inside, you see the amazing space. So the church had a very, very low ceiling, undersized little foyer before you went in the sanctuary. And now we were able to begin to contemplate a coffered ceiling, beautifully lit, and look at the views they have. Just absolutely beautiful. This, of course, is a rendering, not a photograph, but one of our design studies. And you'll see that the finished solution came out very similar to this, but a beautiful improvement for this congregation. Another shot there from the little lounge space looking back toward the Welcome Center and back down the length of this tremendous gathering space. You can see the glass and the transparency again going into worship. And more, where possible, we are talking with our churches about going with a transparent back wall. It just allows this gathering space to be used for heavy services, great overflow, also for cry room, discipline, children, even adults that may need to get up and stretch are still part of the service. And we step inside the renderings of the sanctuary, and now you're looking at the front of the sanctuary, and you might notice, if you remember, that sacristy that was right here has been completely cleared out. The vestry that was over here has been cleared out. And so what to do with all of those services, you begin to see an element that we worked long and hard on and finally concluded was the best of our options, and that is a suspended cross up here in the ceiling. And we'll see that a bit more in some next views. But part of this project too was the addition of this very, very large pipe organ. And this is the old school pipe organ where the unit here actually has to connect to the pipes and open the flaps to allow the air to pass into the pipes. This was as old school as they get. Very, very fun. The pipe organ also had very narrow constraints for heating and cooling. So the space needed to be well heated and well cooled. Here we are looking back from behind the chancel. The pipe organ that we just looked at is behind us now, and we're looking across at the tremendous glass wall and out into that gathering space. This was a dove that we contemplated, but later our acoustical consultant really said that we needed more volume. And so we extended the volume of the sanctuary out over the gathering space to give that pipe organ enough reverb to really sound great. Here we see probably the best picture yet of the cross that we introduced. So up above that cross is sprinkler, HVAC ducting, lighting, and all of our other components of conduit and things that we needed to hide up there. To be honest, we were very nervous about it. The church was too. We looked at dozens of options, and there just wasn't anything that was less bold. So we went bold, and as it went in, it's become an absolute favorite of the church. It's so bold, so amazing. The lighting is so fantastic. It was really a great success. This is that other entry. So this gathering space wraps around and then moves toward the front parking lot that we looked at, where we looked at the big heavy brick beam. So this was able to extend this hallway out toward the street and express some very transparent, open, welcoming entry to the front parking lot as well. Came out very nicely. The hallway that we're talking about, if you look up, is alongside of the sanctuary. Well, we couldn't really have a roof that cut across these stained glass windows. So we took the roof all the way up, all the way down and over these stained glass windows, and then lit them more elegantly than we have here shown in the rendering, but lit them from across the hallway. It worked out very well. And so here we see that front parking lot entry. If you remember, this is actually that brick beam that we looked at, and we've actually brought the glass entry all the way out underneath that beam. So instead of being very heavy, very oppressive, where you go under the beam and then way back in that kind of damp, drippy space, you've got nice glass all the way out. This is new roof that you see going up and over. Those were the stained glass windows on that wall into the sanctuary that we looked at. This is the existing little bell tower that was freestanding that now is incorporated. So some pretty good trigger work, some nice design to incorporate our new building so elegantly into the old, and really improve their situation, and looks like it's always been there. Coming around now to actual built photographs, and look at that organ with you. So the organ had to incorporate this existing stained glass window, and we worked with the organ designer to make all that work out. You see the lighting coming in here, that's existing glass coming in, but look at the flood of lighting and how it just embraces the organ. You see some really rich woods, and you can see that the overall lighting quality is amazing. In fact, I didn't even have a decent before picture because the sanctuary was so dark. All of our photographs are just really bad. But now you see just the light, how the roof has gone up, and this space is just bright and airy and triumphant and wonderful. Some of the little details that go into making a great project. We worked with just some great artisans on this rounded, in fact, oval chancel kneeling rail. It's just beautiful. You just want to touch it. It's old world fantastic. Here, the kneeler details. So they have a kneeling rail all the way around the chancel, and some very complex detailing in there, some great craftsmanship on the partners that worked with us to build this on site, and it is just magnificent. Another shot of that chancel. This used a little bit of their existing imagery that they were used to with the crosses. It's a very open rail, uses their existing furniture, and really incorporates beautifully. Back here you see a light ledge that we incorporated around the outside to get lighting up on that roof. That deck was dark, stained dark, and there was no light on it because all the light was coming down. So you just looked up in the glare. Now we're bringing light from the cross and from this lighting beam all the way around and just lighting that ceiling up. And oh, the difference it makes in your mood, your perception of the space is absolutely dramatic. And looking back from the front of the sanctuary, there you see that we really did build all that glass, and then it lines up with the glass going out. They have some beautiful, 100-foot pines back there. And so just the light qualities are absolutely amazing. And here up in the corners, you see the additional volume that we gave for the sake of the organ. Most firms would not have had the expertise. They did not have the consulting expertise to know that they needed that. But that was necessary to tune that organ and to make the room the proper container for that organ. And it is glorious. And as we step back out into the new gathering space, we see that the walls here in the sanctuary are being angled to accommodate the angles on the pews. And it makes for a very interesting space. Before you saw the early designs, and now you see the actual finished work of the coffered ceiling, the lighting, the light quality. And again, it's just an absolute favorite. I love this project. It's a big home run for this church. So we'll finish up taking a quick look at the master plan that we did for them. This is their sanctuary space. Here you see that new round chancel that we put in, the pipe organ, orchestra on one side, choir on the other. These are low little pony walls. And then the seating, 240 seats at a 24-inch spacing. Here's that expanded narthex gathering space. Absolutely beautiful. A proposed library room, and there's that new entry. So you've got a new entry over here, parking and beautiful new entry, very welcoming, and parking and beautiful new entry. And then we tie in around here and then go down the hall to the rest of their functions. And we'll see right over here that we've actually proposed another phase for them. They'll increase their administration, and they'll put in their proposed classroom wing down here. So great project. We appreciate you taking the time and the interest. If you have something that we could help you with, don't hesitate to call. We'd be glad to come out and see you and consult with you and help you any way we can. We look forward to talking with you. Thanks again.